So today we start here on the Van Rhyns Pass, coming down into the kind of coastal escarpment here. This is going to lead all the way to the sea, and that is where we are heading.
This whole series is made possible by the power of Red Arc, and in part by Bushtech Canopies, Terrain Tamer, and Easyone. Leaving Starvor's village behind, we head through Van Rhyns Pass en route to resupply in Van Rhynsdorp, all in preparation for our off-grid adventure to the Namakwa Coastal National Park. This area between the end of August and the end of September is just absolutely covered in beautiful wildflowers. It's a world-renowned spectacle, and people travel from all corners of the earth to witness it every year. There's been good rain this year, so I'm pretty sure the flower season is going to be spectacular in a couple months' time. Our adventure will take us along the N7, where just south of the town of Garries, we turn off towards Groenriviermond, where we would check into the national park and get to our campsite that we would be calling home for the next couple of days of hopefully bliss.
We're so ready to get off-grid and get ourselves there to the sea. It's been a while since we've seen the ocean. Last time we saw the ocean was all the way in Knysna, so it's going to be good to kind of get back and spend a bit of time there by the sea and just kind of soak it in. There's no clouds in the sky. It's nice and hot. It's 26 outside at the moment. It's getting up there, and still a bit of a wind, so we'll see how that goes. But we're now going to be heading through to Groenrivier, and I think it's going to be quite a beautiful little road. We've got a nice little afternoon ahead of us, but spirits are good, we're feeling good, it's nice and we've dried out, got fresh clothes, and we're ready to be off-grid for the next 7 to 12 days. So, let's do this. As we drive along this road, all along the sea line are different little camps. So you actually come and you pick your little spot and hang out there. They've got little long drop toilets and things like that. It's very basic facilities. Our camp we're going to now instead is actually called Skeins by Noord or something like that. Basically it's 26 k's down the coastline. So we're just going to really soak in this beautiful drive with the sun starting to set. It's almost 4 o'clock now on the west coast. It is spectacular. Watching the waves crash right there in front of us and all of this little dune scrub around us. Fantastic. So yeah, I can't wait to see what our little campsite's going to be like. The wind is absolutely howling at the moment outside. We'll see how Andy will be fine because he'll have his tent below the windbreak. I'm going to be popping up right above the windbreak, so let's see how it goes. Turn down now towards our campsite. So we're actually off-road a little bit into a bit of the thicker sand now. So we've managed to wangle ourselves a bit of a dinner. The wind has sort of calmed down a bit, but it is cold and it is still windy. We're gonna eat up, head to bed, and we'll catch you in the morning. So one of our biggest days on solar so far was actually the third day of our trip, 382 watt hours. We've had 190 watt hours, and then just the other day at Star Wars Village, just in an afternoon, we got 299 watt hours. So let's see how it goes today. We're going to be keeping an eye on the solar over the next couple of days, and we're going to see, can it completely sustain us. We're running a freezer at -15. We're running a fridge at 6, so that's 40 liters freezer, 50 liters of fridge, and we're also charging my inverter, and we are also running lights and stuff like that off here, which obviously we won't use during the day. So over the next couple days, let's see how it goes. Everything is going to be charging off one 160 watt Red Arc solar blanket.
We definitely had the weather in our favor for our little solar experiment. Although very windy, crystal clear, blue skies would mean we would really get to test our setup at its best. But the sun out here has no pity for the weak, so we needed to hide away under the awning as soon as possible.
So it is absolutely scorching and the sun is quite brutal. We're gonna have to put out the awning. We're just gonna have to see how it handles the wind. So far, I'm actually really impressed. Let me just give you an update on the solar. The solar is cranking at the moment. We are pretty much almost full on our battery already, and it's 10:30 in the morning. So we're gonna see now as the day heats up and the fridge starts working more, it's gonna put more strain on the battery system and more strain on the solar. So let's see how it goes. But so far, the panel's been doing beautifully and looking after us really nicely.
This camp was the perfect spot to just sit and relax. Finally, a couple days to slow down a bit.
So we have made about 1,000 new friends in our campsite. There are millions of flies here. So if you see them flying around us, I've intentionally put everything in the wind. So I'm sorry if it's windy. We're very, very grateful for the wind now. We're going to be doing something for lunch. We're going to be using some leftovers, but we're also going to be making, try and be a little bit healthy. We've been eating a lot of sweets and chips and all sorts of things. But I have a bag here of broccoli that needs to get used up. And we often make like this little raw broccoli salad at home. So I thought, why not grab a bit of broccoli, chop it up, make a nice little salad for Andy and I that we can enjoy here nice and cold, because it is actually getting quite hot. We've been eating a lot of warm meals and stuff like that, so we're gonna do something nice and easy here. Use some of our leftover sausages from last night. Throw in a bit of mustard. This is all like amazing stuff for flies. Eggs, sausages, broccoli.
We always try and eat a good variety of foods when we travel. This is like day 23 in total of our trip so far, so if we slack on getting good healthy food, it can really start to affect us towards the end of the trip. So our fridge is always packed with fresh vegetables.
Okay, so we have actually already surpassed our biggest solar day. We're now at 441 watt hours that we've put into the system today, and we are at full batteries. So I've actually had to switch some things on to like charge some extra stuff because we've got excess power from the solar panel. We've started at about 70, I think we were about 74% this morning. Now we're at 100%. And everything is going really well. So what's happened is the Manager 30 has actually kicked down the solar charging because we just don't need as much. So it's only putting in about 27, 28 watts, 1 amp, because it's regulating the solar power going into the battery. So the second we can put on enough draw, when the fridge kicks in at 7 amps, boom, the solar panel's there ready with power to kind of deliver straight into the system. Charging my inverter, little portable power pack, that is basically charging up at using about 3 point something amps, mainly about a steady 3 amps. It's actually going well, managing very, very nicely. We'll see as the day goes on and as the sun tilts away from the vehicle, what do we end up at by the time the sun is set in terms of our percentage on the system, and is it going to be sustainable to keep running, off of solar for the next couple days.
With a horde of flies around, it was prudent that we kept the camp kitchen clean, and the slower pace of travel was a literal breath of fresh air for us. We walked around and explored the area near our campsite regularly. It's a truly majestic part of the country.
So we have far exceeded our highest kind of solar charge on this trip. We're now at over 500 watt hours, so that's pretty much almost 50% of the battery, and it is not even 3 o'clock yet. That's quite a lot of power, and I mean we're full. I mean it would be even more than that if we had more to charge. So I'm busy charging the laptops now. All the camera batteries are charged. The inverter is charged at 100. That's on 100%. Our lithium is on 100%. We're in a really good spot off of one panel, running the fridge flat out. It's actually super, super impressive, and gives me a lot of confidence, going out on my trips and things like that, knowing that I've got such a solid setup. Now, say for example, the clouds rolled in and we had less sun. Our power generated from the solar panel would definitely decrease, but that's where we've got the lithium capacity. So in that case, I would then scale down the amount that I'm charging stuff. You'd have to minimize your amount of power wastage, and then you basically just focus on keeping your fridge going and things like that. I can get about 4 days just running the fridge, 3-4 days, somewhere around there. Obviously, if it's overcast, it's not as hot, so your fridge doesn't have to work as hard. When it's hot, you need more power, everything works a little bit harder. But we'll see, hopefully we can get a chance to really stress test it under like very hot conditions the further up we go with our trip. When we get to places like the Richtersveld and things like that, it gets very hot and there isn't as much wind, a lot of the time to kind of, cut the heat down a little bit. One of the benefits of changing to a lithium battery over my previous AGM battery is that I get a lot more life out of the battery. Now before, I'd be way too scared to run the fridge at minus 15, and the results are deep frozen meat and my absolute favorite thing that we've been spoiling ourselves with a little bit on this trip, Magnums. It's a bit cheeky, but it's so worth it. And we've been running flat out now on the same temperature settings for almost 20 days. 22 days now, 23 days. And I know I can get about 3 to 4 days on that 120 amp hour lithium battery running the fridge like this. So it's been really nice to know we can buy our meat, put it in the freezer, and it stays frozen solid the whole time. When we need it, we've got it. So like now, this is 3rd of April, it's currently the 9th of April, so we know this has been frozen since then solidly, so we know we're going to be good to eat, we're not going to get sick or anything like that. So having that peace of mind, it's been so good. It's been delicious. So the wind has really picked up quite badly and it blew the solar panel off the bonnet of the car. So needless to say, that's it for our solar test today. I think we managed to get to 685 watt hours today, which is quite a lot more than what we've done before. And we could have really done a lot more if we needed more. The panel was just performed really well today. Let me just check here. 680. Yeah, 685 is where we've wrapped up for today. So that's actually very impressive. We're currently sitting at 98%. We've got full camera batteries, we've got full inverter. Everything is looking hunky-dory. We've survived the major heat of the day. It's getting much colder now. So all in all, I think that's been a successful day in terms of our solar and stuff like that. So I think we're going into the evening and into tomorrow with really good numbers and really good battery capacity. So that's a whole lot of fun. That's been really cool to kind of track it and look at it today and kind of see how it's all going. Only thing is our water tank's halfway, so we'll have to sort that out at some point.
After another majestic night's sleep with the roaring ocean making me sleep like a baby, I was up super early because we had a guest arriving today to join us for the next couple of days. I had the VHF radio on and was waiting for him to call in. Nikki from Tamer was en route to join up for a detour to Springbok, where he would be visiting a few of their clients. I was so excited to share this beautiful place with him. He's really passionate about overland travel and hadn't been here for many years, so we were looking forward to exploring the area today. We made sure to have a nice little camp ready and waiting for when he arrived, got water boiled for a good cup of coffee, and the Weber ready to make a nice breakfast. It had been a couple days since Andy and I showered, and with the wind dying down, it was the perfect time to take advantage of having a shower cube.
It's time for a bit of a shower. I mean, you can go good old trusty and faithful bucket with a bit of warm water and a sponge. I've gone for a jerry can. We're going to put a bit of warm water in there. That's actually running through my water system and coming out my shower nozzle, and I'm using the little cube as a little shower cube, so I can at least sort of give myself a bit of a clean after a couple days, and once we're back into some civilization we can have a nice good shower. But if you got to run like this, you can run pretty sustainably off something like this, and you could use your jerry can, warm it up near a fire or something at night and have a shower. So you can kind of play around with it a couple different ways, but it's better than a bucket. Bucket's actually strangely effective. Oh, that's fantastic. Andy and I have both had a shower now. Feel absolutely reborn. We managed to use half a jerry can for the two of us, which is pretty good. Put in about 500 mils of like boiled water just to kind of take the chill out of the water a bit, and it worked really well. So that is a nice little trick there. So now we can go another couple days until we really need a shower again, and yeah, try to get the most of our clothes, try to get the most out of everything while we're off grid. Try not waste, you know, try mitigate usage. But I wanted to show you, so Nicky came through. I want to show you his rig. I want to show you what we've been doing over there. So what's nice with the solar panel is it actually has Anderson power plugs on it. So you can hot swap it between different systems that are running Anderson plugs. Most of our dual battery systems and things like that run Anderson plugs. So you can take it from my Redox system there, we can plug it into Nicky's system here on this vehicle, and it's easily interchangeable. So it's actually very nice to have that kind of functionality. So in and around your camp you can charge up different vehicles and things like that with your solar. So, but anyways, we're gonna be settling in here. We're gonna have a little braai a little bit later, but it was a beautiful day. The flies are sort of chilling out a little bit now, and the sea is absolutely magnificent to watch. It is so smooth and calm today in comparison to the past few days. The wind is nice and easy, so that's why we set up the shower cube and all that stuff, and we are in a little bit of mini paradise here. Let's do it. Doesn't that sound like fun?
We wanted to explore some nearby areas, and Nikki had heard of a shipwreck, so we hopped in the patrol and went out for a mission. We found a lot more than we bargained for, and even made a mini game drive out of it. We explored up and down the coast the whole afternoon. Rolling back into camp as the sun was setting, we were ready to get a fire going and have a nice braai. There are few things in the world that beat good company, a roaring campfire, and the sunset over the west coast.
So I think our little experiment with being off grid for a couple days and seeing how much solar do we really need to kind of live off of has been really successful. I mean, today we charged both batteries up. I'm at 98%. Nikki managed to charge up his battery as well, all of the one panel. So the kind of gap that I saw yesterday where we had a full day on solar just on this vehicle was that, yeah, in good sunlight, a high quality 160 watt solar panel like the Red Arc solar blanket can really keep a good setup going. It's been very fun to actually look at it and really pay attention to everything, be able to look through the graphs and stuff like that to see what we've generated. Yesterday was a huge day. We generated 685 watt hour. Today was only 369 watt hour because we didn't need much more than that. We weren't overdoing, things. Yesterday I was like trying to use as much power as possible and we just couldn't kind of keep up with it. So we could probably go then now and think about scaling up our battery system, maybe adding in more lithium so that we can add in things like bigger inverters and stuff like that, like maybe a 3000 watt inverter. We can run like a little coffee machine, we can run little, you get like little ovens and blenders and all sorts of things like that, that you could look, depending on your system, depending on how you kit out your vehicle, you could then start scaling up if you know what you've got. But when you start scaling up capacity, then you want to start scaling up your power and all that stuff. But it's just an interesting kind of look into the world of kind of off-grid self-sustainability in terms of your power solutions and stuff like that. So far the Red Arc system has been working like an absolute dream. The Manager 30 is just a real treat to use. It just works flawlessly all the time. And being able to monitor everything through the TVMS, the Total Vehicle Management System, the Red Vision, on my phone and on the little display here is also really, really awesome. So I must say, very, very impressive so far. But that's going to actually kind of bring the end to our little trip here in the West Coast. This beautiful, beautiful place that has been our home for the past 3 days. Tomorrow morning, nice and early, when it's still dark, we're going to be leaving and making our way to Springbok, and we're going to be starting our new adventure. So what's going to be up next is we're going to be tackling the Namakwa 4x4 Eco Trail and really putting our vehicles to the test out there. This is going to be quite exciting. We're going to be meeting up with new people, going on exciting new adventures, and the adventure awaits. If this was 3 days off grid, that is going to be 5 days off grid. So it is going to be a real stress test for everything going on with our power system and the new suspension in the vehicle as well. So with everything done and dusted, we're going to go enjoy the last little bit of our fire, our sunset, have a little beer, and soak in the last beautiful golden rays on the West Coast.
Thank you so much for joining us on this week's episode of Rome Overlanding. I really hope you enjoyed it and would love to hear what you think down in the comments below. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe. It really helps the channel, and I will see you on the next adventure. Cheers.